All right, guys, the Utah Jazz get their, I believe it's their fourth loss in a row. Tonight it was against the Dallas Mavericks and Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. Let's talk about it. The Jazz, the Mavericks, it's the Hoopster postgame show. Guys, before we get started, make sure that you go and sign up for Prize Picks at prizepicks.com. Use promo code HoopsNerd. They will match up to $100 when you use that promo code, and it supports the channel. I did my Prize Picks today. I had Kyrie on the over, which hit, and I had Kelly Olynyk on the over because Kessler was out, multiple players out. It looked good. He missed one free throw. I missed it by 1 point. It was still a lot of fun. Super easy. I should have gone with Markkanen. Why wouldn't you go with Markkanen? I don't know. But anyways, go sign up with Prize Picks. Use promo code HoopsNerd. I would appreciate it. All right, the Utah Jazz lose their fourth straight. Let's talk about the Mavericks a little bit. This Mavericks team obviously was one of the big trade teams during the trade deadline and brought in Kyrie Irving. He tonight was awesome. He was 55% from the field, 42% from three, 33 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists. The duo of Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, they still kind of got to figure things out a little bit, but they looked like they kind of had a good idea of what they want to do. Honestly, a lot of times you worry about these teams with, is it your turn, my turn? But it might actually kind of work with this Mavericks team where you just let Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving work in isolation, and then you have shooters and hopefully defense around them. But they do have shooters around them. Dwight Powell, I don't think is going to be anything special defensively. They just kind of struggle with rebounding is the big flaw for this Mavericks team. They just can't get rebounds. They did pretty good tonight against the Utah Jazz, although I think Kessler sitting was maybe a big reason why that helped them kind of win this game, because if Kessler was in this game, the rebounding would have been a struggle for Dallas. But anyways, Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic have really figured it out. Luka Doncic tonight, 43% from the field, 36% from three. It's funny that as I watched him, it kind of felt like he wasn't quite 100%, and he still manages to score 29 points and get 10 rebounds, 6 assists. He's just kind of laboring, and I think he's just kind of going to have to power through this injury because this Mavericks team needs every win they can get. They have been struggling since the Kyrie Irving trade, although they do win tonight. I mentioned Dwight Powell. His offense is usually pretty good with Luka Doncic. He only plays 19 minutes tonight. And then there's Reggie Bullock, who played 7 minutes tonight. Didn't play all that much. Josh Green, who's looked really awesome the last kind of quarter of the season. He tonight didn't shoot the ball really well. 3 for 10 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3, 7 points. But Tim Hardaway Jr. was a big part of this win for the Mavericks. 8 for 12 from the field, 7 for 9 from 3. He was just knocking it down. He was a major reason they won this game. Just those 3-point shots. And a lot of them came off the hands of Kyrie Irving. So big time stuff for this Mavericks team. Really good, interesting team. I don't know how they're a little bit of a paper tiger, in my opinion, until they figure out kind of what they need to do. They got Maxi Kleber back, who's a solid defender, a good shooter, so he might help them a lot. But, man, it just feels like they can't really shoot the ball, you know? They can't, well, not shoot the ball. They can't defend and they can't rebound, and it just feels like that's going to be a problem in the playoffs. So we'll see. This Mavericks team is so different, it feels like, since Jalen Brunson goes to New York. It's just such a different team. Really dominated the Jazz. Finney Smith was such a good defender for them, and I think they really miss him. Kyrie Irving, if you have a chance to get a guy like that and you have a chance to maybe run the table in the playoffs, then you kind of got to do that. But I just don't think I don't think Kyrie Irving does that for them without the defense around them. So we'll see. It's not like a nail in the coffin for the Mavericks, but they definitely have some things that they got to figure out. All right, guys, let's talk about the Jazz. The Jazz lost again, 4th in a row for Utah. Simone Fontecchio starts, Lauri Markkanen, Kelly Olynyk, Ochai Agbaji, and Talen Horton-Tucker. And this team nearly beat the Dallas Mavericks. I don't know if that says anything. I don't know what that says about the Mavericks, but it certainly says one thing about the Jazz. One, this team fights and plays hard. You've got to give credit to every single player on this roster. They go out and they fight and they play hard. They do not quit. They do not give up. Simone Fontecchio, his shooting has not been quite that great. Lauri Markkanen is the story of this game. 12. You know what? I should bring this up. I've been thinking about not doing it as much. We'll see. Let me know. Do you like the stat screen behind me? Do you not? I don't know. Lauri Markkanen plays 39 minutes tonight. 33 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. He's doing so many impressive things. His development is incredible. He's 7 feet tall, and he moves like, I'm not going to compare him to Giannis, but he does some things that Giannis can do, and I think he's kind of figuring it out because he's so big. In transition, if he's got a head of steam and he's got the ball, he is going to cram it on you. And he uses that size in every aspect of his game now, whether it's in the post, whether it's shooting up a three and he's got a smaller defender on him, whatever it is, Markkanen is using his size. He is playing with a nasty edge to his game, which I love. And he's playing at just an incredible clip. I mean, tonight, 60% from the field, 55% from three on 9 3. And then, like I said, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. He also had 2 steals tonight and a block. He's incredible, guys. Lauri Markkanen is turning into just one of the 15 best players in the league if he's not already there. You know, he's playing at an all-NBA level. The Jazz rested him last game because of a hip. We'll see if they rest him again next game. They're playing the Magic next game, so big-time tank opportunity for the Jazz. But, man, when he plays, he just turns this Jazz team into something really solid. They are just really good when Lauri Markkanen's on the floor. You know, and they've basically gutted the roster to try to get a good pick in this draft. But that just tells you how good Lauri Markkanen is. It honestly doesn't really matter who's around him. They are going to play hard, and they are going to be close with whoever they play. Kelly Olynyk tonight, I had the over on him. He was at 12.5. He got 12. No, Kelly. That one free throw. No. Dang it. So close. But anyways, Kelly Olynyk does so many different things. We talk about it every night. 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 12 points, and a +9. Ochai Agbaji started the game. The shooting has not been good for the last couple games, but part of that is because he's figuring out how to shoot the ball when he's being a top option for this team. And if he can just figure out how to get this efficiency back up to what he's normally doing, it would be great. Things are different when you're starting and you're playing big-time minutes and you're handling the ball and you're initiating actions than when you're just sitting in the corner and you knock down wide-open threes, you know? So this is great for Agbaji that he can kind of develop. And it's great for the Jazz tank, too, because as he develops and he gets better for next season and the year after and so on, this allows him to get kind of these mistakes and these kinks out so he can just be a better player. Kinks in the hose is what I'm talking about, okay? Taylor Horton-Tucker had a nice night. He was, I mean, I know the -8 is right there, but 21 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. He was just impacting the game. And these are those nights that he has where he shows how impactful he can be when he's playing well and using his size, making good decisions. The 3, let's see, wasn't quite falling at a... Sorry, it's late, guys. I'm sorry. 1 for 3 from 3, so I guess that's actually pretty decent. And he took 7 free. This is just a really nice night for Taylor Horton-Tucker and turning into just a solid rotation player for this Jazz team. Really good. I wanted to talk about Johnny Juzang. I know the numbers aren't quite showing it, but he had a floater tonight that just got me kind of excited. That this guy's a player. You know, sometimes I don't care so much about the percentages. I just want to see you look like an NBA player, and he looks bigger than what he's listed. He shoots the ball. He has a nice stroke. It wasn't falling tonight, thank goodness, because this Mavericks team barely beat the Jazz. But he looks like an NBA player to me. I think they have a guy in Johnny Juzang, and I think they need to give him more run. Damian Jones, the last 2 games has looked solid. He had a putback tonight that was unbelievable, but he goes 7 points, 6 rebounds. He knocked down a 3-point shot. He actually shot 35% from 3 one season with the Lakers. That 3-point shot, and it was like 10 for something. Go look it up, but I know the last time I said look it up, I was wrong. So I'm telling you, look it up. You can look it up at your own risk, or I might be right. I think I am. 35% is what I think. Am I right? Am I not? Let me know in the comments. But anyways, 3 for 3 from the field, 1 for 1 from 3, 6 rebounds, but he has so much bounce to his game. And he rebounds and he does a lot of good things. I think he could be a solid backup big, and at the very least, he can be a third big for the Jazz, and you feel comfortable having him come into games. Certainly more impactful than Doak, who was a DNP. Chris Dunn, I can't say enough good things about Chris Dunn. He gets his second 10-day contract for the Jazz. 5 assists, 8 rebounds. He was 50% from the field, 1 for 2 from 3. That 3 he knocked down looked actually more comfortable coming out of his hand. And 11 points. A near triple. I mean, honestly, if he's getting more minutes, don't be surprised if he gets a triple-double. The guy plays so hard. And he had a steal. I mean, how many steals did he? He had 1 steal tonight, but it made my heart flutter. He just ripped the ball right out of Luka's hands and then went in transition the other way. I don't know if he scored, but man, it was just, let's just watch it. It was so good. This steal was was just unbelievable. They call it lost ball turnover. He just rips it right away and just goes into transition. I love it. This is the shot. But Markkanen makes it. That's a 4-point swing created by Chris Dunn right there. Just fantastic. He has been such a nice pickup for the Jazz, and they got him out of just from the G League. A number 5 overall pick. So he has the athleticism and the defense is there. It's a shame they didn't pick him up last year or the year before. But I think this guy is he's only 28. I guess only. He's 28 years old. He's a guy that you can sign for next year if you're trying to win games. He can come in and play defense. And I've talked about this before. I know I talked about it on SLC Dunk. And I think I talked about it on my last video. But you need to sign this guy because it'll show the level of defense you want other guys to play. You know, Ochai Agbaji watching Chris Dunn is a good thing because he can see what Chris Dunn does as a defender. And you want Ochai Agbaji doing that. Same goes for every other player on the team, including like Lauri Markkanen. Like, they just see what Chris Dunn does. Why am I not playing with that intensity? Why can't I just go in for that steal and do those things? It's great because the measurements are comparable with Ochai Agbaji. He's just got to learn from Chris Dunn, who's just a phenomenal defender. Rudy Gay hit some shots. Rudy Gay had himself a night. Look at that. 57% from the field, 40% from 3, 10 points. Cool it, Rudy Gay. But anyway, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. So, just an incredibly successful night tonight where you have the Jazz playing well, looking good. They lose the game, but that was the goal. 4 straight losses for the Jazz is phenomenal for their positioning. And guess what? The Utah Jazz now sit at number 8 in the lottery. Sole possession of number 8. Who was saying it was too late to tank? No way. No way, Jose. Because now the Jazz are at number 8. And look at this. Let's see, is that just a game and a half? A game and a half behind the Chicago, who's trying to win. They are trying to win games. There's no way they get in the top 4. And, you know, Chicago, who knows? Maybe they're just hoping they jump into the top 4. But guess what? Utah is right there with Chicago, who's trying. And that pick goes to Orlando if they're not the top 4. So they have motivation to win. Indiana has been playing pretty decently recently. I know they lost 1. But this Utah Jazz team is right there on Indiana's heels, just 2 games back. And then Orlando, who the Jazz play next, is just 4 games up on the Jazz. If the Jazz lose to Orlando next game, they are just 3 games back. And that Orlando team is trying to win. They are trying to win. How incredible was that trade for Orlando, by the way? They got Chicago's pick last time, and they're going to get their pick and Chicago, which is likely going to be not likely, it is going to be 2 top 10 picks. Unless Chicago goes on some run, which maybe they can. By the way, let's look at prospect game log. Oh, that shows you. Oh, that's interesting. So, guys, you got to go to Tankathon. It's really incredible. Remaining schedule strength. So here's another reason you should be excited if you're Utah. Look who has the number 2 toughest schedule to end the season. Utah. Strength of schedule 532. They play the Bucks once, the Nuggets once, the Celtics twice, Kings twice. The Nets are actually a team that could definitely beat the Jazz, and then the Suns with Kevin Durant. Their easiest opponents. I mean, your easiest opponents, I guess, is Portland. OKC has beaten us the last 2 times. It's going to be interesting. So they play the Magic next. If they lose that Magic team, the Jazz go on a run here where it is really tough. I might have to get support Tankathon, who I use every night. They have a Jazz one. Detroit, Chicago, OKC. Come on, Houston, but no Jazz. I guess the Jazz colors are pretty rough, but New York Knicks. I might just get that tankathon right there. I like that. How much is it? I'm giving them free. I like that. I like that. Good for you, Tankathon. Thank you for all you do, Tankathon. Thank you, Tankathon. All right, that's all I got tonight. It's that time. We're now in the 8th spot. These rolls of the dice get more interesting the higher you go. Right now, pull this up. Let's get this music started, baby. Let's get this music going. So, it gets more interesting for the Jazz in the 8th spot because look at this. 26% chance now for a top 4 pick for the Jazz. That's a 1 in 4 shot. 26%. That's like a Lauri. That's like a, what would you compare that to? Like a Damian Jones 3-pointer? If the Jazz can get to number 5, look at that. And then, yeah, guess what? The 6% at the top picks, not much different than the 7.5. I mean, at this point, this is the best spot. Like, if you want to be in this picture, you don't want to be less than 8, because look at this jump from here to here. And if the Jazz can get into this range, oh mama. Oh mama. All right, let's see where the Jazz fall tonight in the lottery. Where do you think? Oh, stay at 8. No. Chicago jumps like they wanted to. No. All right, let's see. So number 8 gets the Jazz Keontae George. I don't want Keontae George. I'm taking Cam Whitmore, Casey Wallace, or Anthony Black over Keontae George. I hate it. But anyways, if you get into the top 7 or 6 or 5, that gets you... Asar Thompson, by the way, hit a game winner tonight to win the Overtime Elite League. This top 5 is like locked in. Can you get in this 5 and get a Thompson twin? So nice they made him twice, right? Or Brandon Miller if you can somehow jump to number 3. I'm taking Brandon Miller at 3, and then I'd have Amen and Asar at 4 and 5 probably. Oh, there's so many nice picks in this draft. But at the worst, the Jazz right now are getting Casey Wallace, Cam Whitmore, or Anthony Black. That's exciting stuff. That's exciting stuff. I don't care who you are. All right, guys, it's that time again. Let's give a shout out to our All-Stars. If you want to support the channel, go to hit the join button and become a member. Support the channel. I'd appreciate it. If not, you can also just like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that as well. All right, let's go through this. Let's do this. Let's give a shout out to the All-Stars. Oh, and you can go to prizepicks.com and use promo code HoopsNerd. Go put down $5 on somebody. It's really fun. I tell you what, you go use Prize Picks, you will pay attention to that game much harder. All right, guys, let's give a shout out to our All-Stars. Let's give a shout out to Ezekiel Raicibe, the man for Down Under. See ya, Lexalator, Built Ford Tough, Alexander Tufts, Jorge Arrizaga, mi amigo de Baco, Jordan the Goat, Besserell, Just Buckets, JB, Zap Watts, Total Game Domination, TGD, Christian House, Money to Haas, Tyson Price, The Price is Right, X marks the spot for Zintis, Austin, our Grant Editor Extraordinaire, DWCB, Darren Williams, to Carlos Boozer, Patrick Kubo, the Connoisseur, and Robert Hall of Fame. Guys, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel. Do it. Do it right this moment. We got over 9,000 subscribers now. On the road to 10K, baby. Let's get to 10K. I'm going to do more. Things are going well with the channel. We had that video I did about Scoot, or not Scoot. I want to do a video about Scoot, I guess. But that video about Ja did really well. It's time to do more production while we also stick with the lives. The channel is thriving, guys. I appreciate all of you for being a part of this channel. You make it what it is. I appreciate every single person watching right now. Anyways, like and subscribe to the channel. I will talk to you next time.